Eva, congratulations and thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you so much.
Love this movie. It's now one of my favorites this year.
Yay!
So, you come from a comedy background, correct? Did you pull some of that for this film?
I mean, really, just as a spectator, I never did comedy. I was too chicken really to attempt it. I have terrible stage fright, which I think is where the throwing up part comes from.
Mm.
But um, but I was very much involved in the comedy scene from the time I moved to New York when I was 18. I just started going, and I would go every night and see the different comedians and how they wrote jokes and change them according to how the audience was reacting. So it just had all the elements of things that, really directing is, because there's performing, there's writing, there's controlling all the environment. So it just had everything that I wanted, really.
So, what is it about a talented dramatic actress like Mary Elizabeth Winstead that made you want to cast her in this particular role?
Well, I just think she's so accomplished and so clearly capable of doing pretty much everything. And it's such a punishing role that way because she really has to do, stand up aside, dance and have sex and cry and, all sorts of stuff. So I knew I needed somebody that really was unafraid to tackle all of that. And I always think of Mary as very fearless. And now I know that she is. So the stand-up part never bothered me. I know that she was terrified of doing it, but I always thought that as long as we kept working at it and rehearsing it, that we would get there.
And who provided most of the humor and the jokes that her character has to say in this film?
I mean, I wrote them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a comedy consultant called Jamie Loftus, and she helped us out a little bit too, here and there. And then, as with always when there's comedians in a movie, like Jay Moore, for example, added a lot of his own lines. I'm very open to improv, so if actors want to do that, I mostly always love it. So, like, a lot of his own lines are his.
I assume that in the comedy world, for comedians, their dream goals either to be an SNL member, to have a sitcom, or to be a late night host.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair to say that that's their goal?
I'm not so sure that that's true anymore. I think that was true for a long time, and I'm sure there's still a lot of people. But for example, LA has a great alternative comedy scene that has been vibrant for like a good 5 years now and is growing. That does a lot of different things now. So, and of course with the internet too, people have different YouTube channels. It's much more open now in terms of the process not being the same. You don't only have to be in SNL to get to be well known. So like Jamie Loftus, for example, who's a comedian here, has a lot of sort of Andy Kaufman-like shows that she does that, again, it's not for everyone, but I love them. It was a little harder to do for this movie. It was easier to follow that, more traditional route.
What do you hope the audience will take away from Nina's journey?
I hope they take away that the people who go through trauma don't always tell you that, and that it can be a complicated thing to go through day to day, but also that we don't have to lose our sense of humor over it, and that there's hope. I think often people who have gone through this kind of stuff are treated like their life is over, and it certainly wasn't true for me or for a lot of my friends that have gone through it. So I hope it's hopeful.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so
Congratulations
much.
again.
Thanks.